Tonight in this edition of the news, we'll take you to Tiko subdivision where some houses have been earmarked for demolition. Inhabitants will be reacting after that exercise. Equally, we shall be taking you to the nation's capital, Yaoundé, to tell you just how far members of the Bilingualism Commission are mapping out strategies to see the effectiveness of the usage of bilingualism or the practice in the respective public institutions. This and more will be yours. Good evening and thanks for joining me. I am HANSON Chanji, watching the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on EQUINOXE television. We're broadcasting live from Douala, Cameroon. EQUINOXE Central News Desk. We take you to Tiko subdivision, where houses earmarked for demolition. Inhabitants have been complaining about their houses which have been earmarked for demolition in Tiko subdivision after the coming of President Paul Biya to the southwest region of the country. They're equally calling on the head of state to intervene to their properties so that their properties would not be destroyed or violated. They were reacting after the recent outing of the new SDO for Fako division. Derek Jato traveled to Tiko and came back with this report.
Over 1,000 houses around the Tiko airport have been earmarked for demolition.
Well, it is alleged that this project is for the expansion of the airstrip here.
And the occupant, potential victims, say seeing this red paint on their walls is giving them sleepless night.
The first one is they give you the right to build. Today they are the same people coming to break us. We are so surprised. So, the marking they have done here, we thought it was a joke, but now it's reality.
I'm not the only one affected. All of us are. In fact, we are down.
Barrister T-Mark George Fojo, whose mission is to see into it that the rights of these people here are respected, told us that the legal procedure on the expropriation of public lands as stipulated by the Land Ordinance has been violated by the government.
Those particular people who are to be affected must be called, look into, discuss with them, come out with findings and solutions, then before they proceed with what is being going on now. In the present context, by virtue of this of the legal provisions, all these procedures have not been followed here.
Reason why he has written even to President Paul Biya spelling out the danger that looms and calling for his intervention.
I had to write to our father, the President, His Excellency President Paul Biya, pleading for him to come for interventions.
The thousands of families around this Tiko airport say the government should relocate the airport, just like what was done with the Douala and Yaoundé airport.
They have changed all airport in all zones that I know. Like in Yaoundé, where I studied, they have moved to Fusimalen. Like in Douala in Bonapuizo, they moved to where it is.
This dust of panic was raised by the recent outing of the new senior divisional officer for Fako division, calling on those whose houses have been marked for demolition to resubmit their document to his office.
Now, I told you in the top stories, members of the Bilingualism Commission are on a mission in the nation's capital, and they are assessing the effective implementation of the bilingualism as enshrined in the Constitution of Cameroon in the respective public institutions in the country. Roland Nakon.
Is bilingualism practiced in public administrations as the Constitution demands? That is the question sending out all members of the National Commission on the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism to all ministerial departments in Yaoundé this week to assess the level at which bilingualism is practiced in public administration.
The fact that we're going down to the ministries should give people the feeling, the justified feeling, that the head of state wants the two languages, the two official languages, to be at par in whatever is being done in this country. So that already is a very good indicator. Secondly, the recommendations we make to him to improve on the parity, if you want, they should be very welcome, and they should go a long way to satisfying people, those who feel aggrieved about the parity of the languages, to be pleased about what is happening.
A release from the Commission states that a field mission will enable members to gather enough material to make an evaluation on the exercise of bilingualism in government ministries. Attention will be paid on shortcomings and difficulties encountered by the government services in this regard.
We've divided ourselves into 7 teams, so on the average, each team has 5 ministries on the average. And in 4 days, we think it's possible. And then after that, we will make a recommendation, make a report to our hierarchy, that's the President of the Republic.
As a consultative body, the Musonge Commission will exploit the facts gathered and eventually propose realistic actions to be taken to redress the situation in its report to the President of the Republic.
The situation of rights in Cameroon is under evaluation ahead of the periodic report next year at the United Nations General Assembly. For more on the preparation of the periodic report, Roland Akon once again.
How far is Cameroon promoting and protecting human rights? The question comes up as the time is near for Cameroon to present before the UN Rights Organization its periodic report on the situation of rights in the country. This Yaoundé meeting Tuesday, grouping stakeholders of rights, seeks to prepare Cameroon's report for the upcoming event April and May 2018.
Sur la base de 3 documents. Un rapport de 20 pages, présenté par le Cameroun sur l'état de la mise en œuvre des recommandations.
3 documents will help assess Cameroon's rights situation. A 20-page report on the implementation of the UN recommendations after the last session, a 10-page document by the UN Commissioner for Rights in Cameroon, and another 10-page document by NGOs.
Un rapport de 10 pages du Haut Commissariat aux droits de l'homme sur les positions des ONG.
It should be recalled that Cameroon of recent has been under attack by some rights organizations for the non-respect of certain rights in the country. It was in 2006 that the UN General Assembly took a resolution to establish a periodic report to evaluate and assess the level of rights in countries in the world.
A relative camp has returned to the campus of Government Bilingual High School Nyala in Douala 3 municipality. This after 6 students were caught gambling on campus and in possession of deadly weapons. One of them is on the run. The 6 have been expelled. The parents of the student on the run spent a night at the Gendarmerie Brigade. Innocent Aze.
They were 7 in number, 6 of whom were considered as recalcitrant students in Forms 3, 4 and 5 of Government's Bilingual High School Nyala in the Douala 3 subdivision. The prime suspect, known to be a former student of the school, involved the 6 students after smuggling himself into the campus dressed as a student October 18 to meet his friends. They were reportedly caught by the senior discipline master on a patrol gambling in one of the students' toilets during lesson periods. It was at this juncture that the former student, noted to be a vandal and dangerous element, was discovered in possession of packets of cigarettes, bottles of alcohol, and a deadly gun-like object which the principal, Isaac Bernard Zime, could not independently justify. It was a real gun or a toy.
It's not a toy. Perhaps it's a gun. I don't know. I gave that arm or gun to the brigade.
According to the principal, the culprit certainly had plans of intimidating students with the object and their money, mobile phones, and other valuables confiscated from them.
Perhaps, I don't know. They use that gun to intimidate the student and to ask him to or her to give the telephone or another expensive object.
The 6 recalcitrant students of the school were summoned at the disciplinary council October 27, where their dismissal was announced in the presence of their parents, who pleaded for the decision to be reversed to no avail.
The parents, you cannot tell that dismiss my child. No, you can beg and beg, but the reglement interior has the law, and He was obliged to do what the law tells us to do.
On the part of the prime criminal, he had eloped answering to questions at the Logbaba Gendarmerie Brigade, same day where his parents were compelled to spend the night. Everything has returned to normalcy in GBHS Nyala, according to the principal, but with security measures put in place to prevent such criminal activity from repeating itself in the school. Students have been exhorted to focus on their education and refrain from any recalcitrant behavior that might ramshackle their studies.
Now in news out of Cameroon, CEMAC member countries have been told to step up measures for the complete implementation of the free circulation of goods, of persons and goods within the sub-region. They were equally told to stand firm on fighting against Boko Haram and the prevailing security situation in the Central African Republic. The call was made by the president of CEMAC, the chairman, Idriss Déby Itnou, who is the president of Chad, during the extraordinary summit that took place this day. Details in the upcoming report.
Quand l'on sait que la notion de frontières et de barrières géographiques ont cessé depuis fort longtemps,
Idriss Déby Itnou, president of the Economy and Monetary Committee of Central African States, was categorical during Tuesday's extraordinary summit. All member states must implement the law on the free circulation of persons and goods in the sub-region.
toutes les filles et fils de la communauté qui sont venus en Djamena sont rentrés sans visa.
To preach by example, Idriss Déby Itnou told his peers that Chad has already received visitors from the CEMAC zone without issuing visas. The Chadian president, however, congratulated the level at which other member states have implemented the law.
À nous pencher sur la politique communautaire de transport.
He urged the CEMAC members to brainstorm on the putting in place of a transport system to ease movement within the sub-region.
Nous devons soutenir et aider les peuples centrafricains.
Idriss Déby was equally worried on the degrading security situation in the Central African Republic and called on member states to work in solidarity towards ending the war there. He raised the issue of Boko Haram, which to him has greatly destabilized the smooth functioning of institutions put in place and its citizens, many who are displaced today. Together as one is the only way to bring Boko Haram to its knees and bring peace back to the sub-region, Idriss Déby Itnou told his peers. And now the head coach of the senior national football team, Hugo Bros, has visited Mercy Ships, the humanitarian ship that is in Cameroon for the next 10 months. Mercy Ships, it should be noted, landed about a month ago in Cameroon at the Douala seaport and are treating some complicated diseases in the country. Hugo Bros, it is the first visit of a sportman as far as Mercy Ships is concerned. Let's now have an excerpt from the interview granted to pressmen today.
And they explained me a little bit of what they were doing. I said, well, it's interesting, I want to see it. And now today I saw already a lot of things, and I'm really impressed what's happening here. There's miracles here. And what's good on Mercy Ships is the fact that you see the problem, but you see also the solution immediately. It's simple what I'm telling you now, but it's an operation like this, boom, and they give a new life on the kids, on the people who are coming here with a problem. So this is something what impressed someone when you give him money or you make an effort for something. Sometimes you say we are doing this, but you don't have really the solution, and you don't have really what they are doing. You don't see it. Here you see it. You see it. You see the guy there, and the day after, what's happening with him? So they give really a new life on those kids and on the people who are coming here with the problem. But it's certainly that I will talk about that to the players. I will not force them, but I will talk to them. I will tell them what I saw those last days. And I think players like their country very much. And if they see what they are doing here, that there will be some players who will do something, maybe a contribution financial contribution or whatever. But I'm sure that there are players who will do something for this for memberships.
That was Hugo Bruce there, the senior or the head coach of the senior national football team, the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, bringing us to the end of the first segment of this news. Join my guest and I, we talk CEMAC right ahead. Today, Chadian President, who is the chairman of the Economic and Monetary Commission of the the Economic and Monetary Committee of the Central African State, that is CEMAC. It should be noted that Idriss Déby Itno today in N'Djamena, Chad, talk about the free circulation of persons and goods, and called on the member state to implement to the last letter. He equally called on member states to help the Central African Republic as far as the prevailing security situation is concerned. He talked about Boko Haram. He talked about putting in place a common transport system to see how persons and goods will be transported to the respective countries. Now, my guest tonight is Ndengwa Martin. Good evening.
Good evening, Hanson, and good evening, televiewers.
The last statement there, the putting in place of a common transport system. You are somebody who has been visiting these countries, 6 of the countries that make up the CEMAC sub-region. Now, how can you access the transport system and the circulation of goods and persons?
Sincerely, Hanson, I want to tell you, with the little experience I have in movements, and what I experience when it comes to economic operators moving their goods from one country to another, I realized that with the CEMAC region, in the CEMAC region countries, it's not flowing as such compared to our West African brothers who are just closer to us. When you travel there, then you understand that the CEMAC region, the CEMAC countries are still very lagging behind, because we still have visa procedures, we still have economic embargoes that handicap the circulation of goods and persons in this region, and it doesn't make the region grow strong. And you know, it makes me feel that the various countries that make up the CEMAC region most of them have their ego, their selfish interest that they want to defend. So no matter how many times they come and sit down to say they are for the CEMAC meeting here and there, they don't implement actually what they decide in their meetings. Because implementing what they decide in their meetings, this could have been done like 20 years ago with this very CEMAC region. And let me very, very sincere with you and the audience, if this thing could have gone in place long ago, the CEMAC regional countries could have been, the development, socio-economic and political development in these regions could have been very, very much appreciated. You see, every country is abandoned on its own or on our own because, excuse me, because they feel that one country or the other is not respecting what they discuss in this meeting, or one country or the other has a personal interest. I will take a clear example, is the case of Equatorial Guinea and Gabon. These countries are countries that experience an economic boom in the petroleum sector. So, and their population density is as low as anything, as between 1 million and 1,500,000 people. Mm-hmm. So you could imagine they never wanted to allow any free circulation of people and goods within their countries.
But now that they have signed, they are finally, signed.
They had to. The conditions, economic conditions, with the prices of petroleum products crashing drastically, they had to succumb now to the regional agreements that they had. So we
can say it's a personal ego that prompted them.
Personal ego. I understand there are security concerns that these countries face. The Boko Haram insurgents, unidentified people flowing into different countries and causing political instability. But those are things that could be taken care of if these countries come together and have a common policy. And that's why I always believe strong institutions remain and they make people stronger rather than strong people. These regions have been managed by very strong people, strong leaders, who don't have strong institutions. And they don't have strong institutions that bind these member countries. And so that's the more reason why they don't abide, they don't agree. Today, it has come...
Are you saying that all the heads of state who have decided to make sure that there should be the free circulation of goods and persons, are you saying that once they have appended their signature on the paper, the institutions put in place to implement that violate what the head of state have decided? Or in other words, are you saying that corruption, bribery, is playing a very big role here?
I will not.
Have you ever experienced that?
It happens everywhere in the world. Corruption, it's a natural phenomenon everywhere now that's disturbing economic activities in the world. But I just want to say that what is happening is this is not the first time these head of states have sat together and agreed on certain principles that they have never respected. As they drive back to their various countries, if you've traveled to Equatorial Guinea in the days when the petroleum sector was booming, you could not even stroll in a country. Your passport was being seized, you were being beaten and being caught up and locked up by police. Same thing in Gabon. But today, and Cameroon in this Central African region is like a mother player that supplies all of these countries economically, even with food and every other thing. So presently they have seen the interest that they could benefit from all the member states. And that's why they are agreeing now that they have to share like member states. Like I will tell you sincerely, if you travel to these West African countries, Benin, as small as Benin is, you go to Benin, you go to Togo, you are free, you are liberal, you move, you buy your goods, you move. You go to Ghana, it's the same thing. Nobody disturbs you when it comes to visa procedures or anything. So long as you come in through the immigration systems, your passport is stamped, you get in. You do whatever you think you want to do, and you live in. As simple as that. But here in the Central African region, it's not the same. I just hope this time around, the heads of states have stood their grounds, and they will expect what they have stood their grounds to be physically implemented. Because if not implemented, it will still be the same song they have been singing all over the years.
Mm-hmm. Now, you are also into the transport sector. The Chadian president said there should be a common transport system that should be put in place in order to ease this movement. Now, some few years back, they talked about the putting in place of a common airline company, but that has is seemingly a big failure today. Do you think that the putting in place of a common transport system can really solve the problem, or can even see the light of day?
Those are what we call cosmetic measures in every given summit. Because at the end of every given summit, they must have something that the resolutions that they come out with. Okay, you just mentioned an airline system. It's a very good thing, but they will never put it in practice. A common transport system is one of the best kind of development measures that could be taken care of. Let's say a railway line that runs through all these regions. It's as simple as ABC. The road networks developed in such a way that you can take a car, because it's possible. You take a car from Cameroon, you can drive to N'Djamena. You take a car from Cameroon, you drive to Gabon. You take a car from Cameroon, you can drive to Equatorial Guinea by road. By air and by sea, all these things are possible. But now it's that political will, whether these leaders, what they have decided is what is actually at the back of their brains. Because any leader that comes up to the summit has something behind his mind to come and get. So for me, it's a very positive move. But how will it work? Will they accept all the legalities, all the shortcomings for it to work? Will they put it needs a lot of financial assistance. Will all these countries agree and put those financial assistance together and implement what they have decided? Because if they implement it, I bet you, these Central African regions will be one of the richest regions in Africa, because we have just everything that it takes to be economically strong and vibrant. Even politically, it can help member states protect their citizens, protect their political, the political integrity of each of their member states. Why not? Look at the situation in Central Africa. If the members were like a united and strong force, they could get into any political situation that is not well and try to see how their inputs could help that country. Central Africa has been abandoned to herself until the United Nations has come in to rescue the country. But meanwhile, Central Africa is a member of CEMAC. And all the heads of states, what have they been doing?
That is why the chairman said all countries should stand firm as one in solidarity with the Central African Republic.
True. The UN the Secretary General of UN, he said that these member countries should stand as one. Because united, they could fight even the Boko Haram insurgents. It's as easy as ABC to fight those kind of things when you are so united. And there's one thing, honesty. It's not only being united as member states, there must be some degree of honesty. Because you have member states that will come, some of them will even sponsor some of these activities, but they do it from behind and they pretend in front and nothing is happening. They don't take measures that could prevent those things from happening. Okay. All these insurgencies, they take place within the borders of these member countries. And those things could be taken care of. You see now, what is happening in Cameroon, the unrest in the northwest and southwest regions, it's already affecting the borders with our neighboring West African country, Nigeria. Mm-hmm. Economic operators cannot function. They cannot operate. And the Cameroon government is losing so much of money. Oh, that frontier could have been controlled. It's easy to control it.
Than closing the borders.
Than closing it. It's easy to control it. Than completely closing it, shutting it down. And the government fighting Boko Haram, struggling to solve the Anglophone crisis, needs money. With so many infrastructural programs put in place, the government needs money. And you cannot go and shut your borders, which are economically vibrant, and making the government treasury swell. So for me, I look at it as a cosmetic measure that doesn't help at the present moment.
All right, those are your views. Martin Dengwa, thanks for being there. It should be noted that you know much as far as the Central African sub-region is concerned, even West Africa. Yeah. And it was a pleasure being with you tonight.
It's my pleasure, Hanson.
It was equally a pleasure being with you in tonight's edition of the 6 p.m. Prime Time newscast on Equinox Television. Thanks for watching. Good night.